Welcome back. Let's look around Klingmann's office. Oh, I'm in the menu for some reason.
Herr Doctor's coat.
I guess so.
I don't see anything in the bookcase but German textbooks. Yeah, the doc's definitely got a thing for wolves.
I guess that's another wolf poster, like that one. It's a bit hard to see from this angle.
Looks like office equipment back there.
Not interesting then.
Yeah, the doc's definitely got a thing for wolves.
We'd already established that. Can't look at the diplomas though. Kind of hard to notice, but important to notice is that there's something on the desk.
A walkie-talkie. Didn't Thomas have one like that?
Indeed he did. And indeed Thomas said that sometimes Klingmann would give him instructions. Anyway, let's see what Klingmann knows about wolves and whether or not he's willing to show us the wolves of the zoo. Doesn't seem very likely, but, well, never shot is always a miss.
Could I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Thanks. You don't mind if I record this, do you?
That's fine.
Interesting how the game makes a point of pointing out that this is being recorded, even though every conversation is being recorded. But normally we don't see Gabriel taking out a tape recorder to do it. It's almost as if the game wanted to remind us that that is the case.
So, you're in charge of the zoo's mammal divisions.
Yes.
What kind of training do you need for that, Doc?
I realize you Americans hate titles, but people refer to me as Herr Doktor Klingmann here. Herr Doktor will also do.
Sorry.
I have a doctorate from Heidelberg University. My field is animal behaviorist.
Fascinating.
I guess he doesn't appreciate being called Doc.
I see you're particularly interested in wolves.
Yes, I'm quite well known for my wolf research.
You must have been horrified when two of your wolves escaped then.
Yes, it has been very unsettling.
Again, a somewhat strange reaction. Maybe they're just shocked, or maybe there's more going on. It's actually easier to spot the walkie-talkie from this angle, although you can't click on it from this angle. But anyway.
What kind of wolf research do you do, Herr Doctor?
I study wolf society here and in the wild.
Any insights?
Only that there is a purity to nature which human society lacks.
Meaning?
Life, reproduction, death. In nature there's a purpose to it, even if that purpose isn't pretty. We humans have forgotten our purpose.
We have.
Yes. Does a male lion say to the female, "I'm sorry, but I'm afraid to make a commitment"? Does a female wolf run off and leave her offspring to the male because she wants to mate with another wolf? Do hyenas need psychotherapy because they are guilty about their thieving nature?
You have a point.
Which
No, he doesn't.
I'm afraid I have overstated.
Not at all. Do your fellow scientists share your views?
Not often, no. Fortunately, I have found others who do.
Where? Also, no offense, Herr Doctor, but you're full of shit.
I was speaking with one of your boys out front, Greg, was it?
No, there's no Greg on staff here. Do you mean Thomas?
Thomas, right. Anyway, he's the one that said to talk to you. Because I was wondering if there was any way I could get a closer look at one of the wolves for research.
I'm afraid this is not possible. We don't show our wolves to anyone. We must protect what privacy the creatures have.
Really? Well, gosh. Guess that's that.
Too bad. I would still rather like to see them, though. We'll have to find another way to do that. Does he have a model of a deer on his desk? Looks like it.
Do you mind if we talk briefly about the missing wolves?
Is this relevant to your book?
Oh, yeah. You see, wolves are major characters in my new novel, and this case is quite unusual, isn't it?
I suppose it is. Very well. Actually, I know very little about the case, but I will tell you what I can.
Appreciate it. How long have the wolves been missing?
It's been about 2 months.
Jeez. Whew, that's a while, isn't it? Strange the police haven't seen hide nor hair of them, so to speak.
Believe me, your sentiment is shared by the German public.
Do you think the zoo wolves are responsible for the mutilation killings?
That is yet to be proven.
Because I've been wondering, what else could it be? Wild wolves, maybe?
Unfortunately, there are very few wild wolves left in Germany. Most were killed off by hunters decades ago.
Most.
A few remain in the Alps. But so close to a city like Munich, it's highly unlikely.
Any other suggestions?
I'm afraid I'm as confused as anyone, Mr. Knight.
Could it be a werewolf? Something tells me that that's probably not a good thing to ask. People might think we're weird.
What I don't see is why wolves, if the killers are wolves, why wolves would attack humans.
Wolves are predators. Most carnivores are potential man-eaters given hunger enough and opportunity.
But weren't the zoo wolves raised among humans?
Yes. And therefore, they are not afraid of us.
I suppose. How does a wolf choose its victims?
Have you ever heard of the language of death?
No.
You may have heard that wolves often choose the young, the old, or the sick as prey. Until recently, many thought this was some sort of natural selection going on, survival of the fittest. But now some of us are finding it is much more complicated than that. We have observed, for example, wolves surround a sick moose cow. The creature was helpless, yet she stood up and glared back at her would-be killers. The wolves dispersed. Or a healthy bull who ran off alone when he sensed wolves, making himself an easy target for no apparent reason. Researchers now believe that there's a kind of primal language going on. I am death, the wolf says. Are you ready to go? And the victim, by its actions, says, yes, I am ready, or no, you will not take me now.
What if their prey doesn't know the language of death?
This is a big problem, particularly for the wolves. When wolves come across domesticated animals who do not know how to play the game, they're confused. They start slaughtering and they have no sense for when to stop. That is why farmers have hunted wolves to extinction in most parts of the world.
Well, that certainly gives me something to think about.
Yeah, right. Could you point me to any published articles in peer-reviewed scientific journals that corroborate that language of death crap? In other words, citation needed. I wonder, can we show him our paw print and hair sample?
I'd rather ask someone who's not involved. This guy's a little too close to the fire not to be reflecting heat.
I guess so. I'll have to find someone else to comment on the samples. Now, the thing is, I still kind of want to look at those wolves. But how to accomplish this? Klingmann won't help us, and Thomas will not show us the wolves unless he thinks Klingmann is okay with it. So the trick is, we need to make him think he's okay with it. And for that reason, we must use the walkie-talkie. Obviously, when Klingmann is not in his office. And the tape recorder. Because as the game so obviously pointed out, we recorded that conversation. Meaning it is possible to construct a phrase that would convince Thomas. Much like in the previous game where we had to write our own message on the wall in voodoo code, or had to use errata drums at the end. We now have to use the splicing functionality of our tape recorder. The way that works is we load the tape that we want to splice, and we load a blank tape in the other slot, and then we use the splice button.
Not a bad idea, but I should go somewhere more private first.
It seems, however, that Gabriel is unwilling to do that while he's here. And I guess it would be kind of obvious that we were up to something fishy if we started remixing Klingmann's words in front of Klingmann. So, we have to find
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Not at all.
a more private spot. I don't know, he seems kind of more friendly than Professor Hartridge was, but at the same time I kind of like him less. This also doesn't count as private. You really basically have to go back to the Hoover farm. Although at least you don't need to go inside. Out here is fine. Alright, no. Tape recorder. Load the Klingmann tape. See, Thomas's conversation was also recorded, even though it was not pointed out to us. Load a blank tape, doesn't matter which one. And it will be back anyway, you'll never run out of tapes or anything. So, let's splice. We need to construct something that will allow us to trick Thomas. First, of course, Thomas must realize that the message is for him. Fortunately, Gabriel ensured that Klingmann said Thomas's name by mistakenly calling him Greg. It's almost as if he did that on purpose. So, Thomas. Let's start with that. And then Klingmann would need to identify himself, and considering he's kind of uptight about his title, I'm guessing he would use his full title. So, let's go with Herr Doktor Klingmann here. And then he said here, we don't show our wolves to anyone. No. Show our wolves to... Well, anyone won't do. We need our name. Mr. Knight. There, that looks okay.
Thomas, Herr Doktor Klingmann here. Show our wolves to Mr. Knight?
Now, let's just hope that Thomas doesn't think that it is suspicious that Klingmann is giving that instruction in English rather than in German. Alright, we now have the splice tape in our inventory. I guess maybe Thomas will think that we're with Klingmann when he gives the instruction. So maybe he'll think that Klingmann is using English for our benefit. Or something like that. I don't know. So let's head back to the zoo and use the splice tape, but we'll do that in the next video.